Okay guys, here we are at our little sand pit. We're doing another video on our cob process out here. And basically this sand that I have right here is sand, it's free sand. It's generally a pretty coarse, low on organic stuff. You can see, I don't know if you see, every once in a while we get just a little bit of river silt. It kind of globs up, but it is generally clean, and I have a wet weather creek that it comes from, and we use our tractor here, just a real small front loader, to go get into the creek, and it's 4x4. It is a good little tractor, but one of the reasons I want to do a video is to kind of go over, similar to what I was talking about with the clay, how my relationship to getting sand has changed, and why, and to kind of highlight that when I started my cob house here, there was a lot of misgivings. I didn't anticipate certain things, so naturally those were usually slowdowns. One of the big problems is this tractor does really good, but it does get stuck. So if we have too much wet weather, well, it doesn't get stuck in the creek. What happens is I have to dump all the sand out and use the front loader to assist me in getting out of the creek myself. How I started doing it, before we were producing so much cob at one time with the mortar mixer, I was just driving my pickup down in the morning before I would start cob, and for about an hour I would shovel sand into big tubs or buckets on the back of the truck and drive it up and deliver it to the site. And obviously, as I've said with all the other stuff too, it was a lot of labor, and I was starting to get concerned. I had been successful getting in and out of the creek before, but I went ahead and used the front loader, the front bucket that is, to carve out a piece of the creek and allow me to get in there a little bit easier. And even still, it's a little tricky. But just by doing that, I make enough sand to do about 6 days, usually 4-hour days of making cob. So it's a lot of sand, any given day. And if you saw our sand pile there, it was a little small, so it's getting down to the end, and I need to pick up some sand today. So I am going to show you all the creek, where I pull sand from, and kind of my considerations and what I've noticed in our creek. And we're back on the back of the property now, and as you can see, I'm approaching this creek line, and this is part of a creek that kind of twists and turns across my property. But a lot of this area was a little more accessible a little over a year ago, and when Hurricane Harvey came through, this meadow around me had a decent amount of water in it. We were probably having anywhere from 3 to 4 feet of water from where I'm standing all the way to that creek, which had a different shape to it before. And that creek was 7, 8, 9 feet deep at portions and just raging. And it swelled its banks from being a dry creek to, I don't know, something like 40 feet. So it changed the bank, and it made it a little harder to get in here. So what I did is, with my tractor, if you can see where the track is coming in, I adjusted that to make it a little easier. And actually, it wasn't getting in that needed to be easier, it was getting out, so it needed the right kind of attack angle and approach so that I could not lose the sand or start having tipping over issues. And here, if you can see that, it's just kind of where I'll come in. Need to flatten this area out, but I will take some of these leaves off the top with the edge of the bucket, and underneath is just a really, really nice sand. It's super coarse, so it'll keep a nice shape there for you. It's not like rounded beach sand. And also, it's free. So we really like that. And I do anywhere from 10 to 12 buckets at a time. And that pretty much fills that little sand pit up. And the only problem that we have with this is, as you can see, this darker material is silt. So as the river kind of rushes in and out of here, you can see it'll make certain areas dip, and then it will deposit silt into weird areas. And once it fills up, then you can't tell they're there. So I go get a big bucket of sand, and then there's a patch of soil in it. And I really don't want to mess up the mixture that much. So you can see kind of what I'm talking about over here. This is this tree is getting back down, but the normal dirt area is about 5 feet over where it once was, and I can no longer get sand out of here. So I'm very grateful to be able to have the sand, but I just wanted to kind of show that process and how we're doing it now with the tractor bucket. And our actual mixture, like I was talking earlier, is 2 buckets of clay and 6 buckets of sand into our mortar mixer and about 2 buckets of straw. So you can imagine how much sand we need. I mean, it's 3 times more than anything else in the mixture. So we actually brought that back down from 7 buckets of sand when we moved into harvesting from our large pond, because of the worry that we would hit a sandy patch inside of the pond, and then, the equivalent would be like 8 or 8.5 buckets or something, and it just would mess up the mixture really bad. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day, YouTube.